Today, we're diving into one of the most ingenious and, let's be honest, clandestine pieces of engineering on the entire planet, the Narco Submarine. We're talking about stealth vessels, literally built in secret jungle hideouts, all designed for one single purpose: to move massive amounts of illegal drugs across entire oceans completely undetected. So how did this hidden industry even start?
I mean, that's the central problem for any cartel, right? You've got a product that's worth an absolute fortune, but it is bulky. And you've got to get it across thousands of kilometers of ocean that's being patrolled constantly. Well, the answer, it turns out, is a brilliant and constantly evolving piece of technology, born from this high-stakes game of cat and mouse.
And get this, that's the value of a single trip: $200 million. When the stakes are that high, you can start to understand why these organizations are more than willing to pour millions into building custom, single-use vehicles. What we're really looking at here is a hidden naval arms race. On one side, you've got the drug cartels with their secret jungle shipyards, and on the other, you have international law enforcement. Think the US Coast Guard, out there trying to find a needle in a ridiculously vast oceanic haystack.
Yeah, 200 captures in a decade? That might sound like a lot. But every expert agrees, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The ones that actually get away represent this massive, incredibly successful, and almost totally invisible supply chain.
So let's start with the most common model, the one that really professionalized this whole hidden industry: the low-profile vessel, or as it's known, the LPV.
Okay, so the crucial thing to get here is, this is not a true submarine. It doesn't fully go underwater. Its genius is really in its simplicity. By sitting so low in the water, its silhouette just kind of blends in with the waves, and that makes it incredibly difficult for radar systems to get a solid lock on it. It's basically stealth on a budget.
This table really shows you how versatile the LPV is. So on the left, you've got your typical model, built for shorter trips up to Central America, and look at that, it's carrying a massive 7.7 tons of cocaine. But then on the right, you have the Che, a custom transatlantic version built for a 6,500-kilometer trip to Europe. And notice the trade-off. It carries less cocaine, only 3 tons, to make room for a staggering 20,000 liters of fuel.
Now, don't let the high-tech mission fool you, because life inside one of these things is absolutely brutal. The crew is crammed into this tiny space with a diesel engine just roaring in their ears constantly. There are no beds, no proper toilet, we're talking plastic bags. Their only way in or out is a single hatch, and their only escape plan if they get caught? Pull the scuttling valve, which sinks the sub and all the evidence right to the bottom of the ocean.
The story of the Che is just a perfect example of how grueling these trips are. What was supposed to be a 2-week journey turned into a 27-day nightmare of storms and near collisions. They finally ran out of fuel just off the coast of Spain, had to sink the sub themselves, and were ultimately arrested. A total mission failure, sure, but for the authorities, it was a treasure trove of intelligence.
You see, every capture is a lesson for the cartels. They realized the LPV's main weakness was that it was still visible on the surface, even if just barely. So the next generation of narco subs, well, they had to solve that problem by going deeper.
And here is the technological leap. Instead of just riding low, these new designs could travel almost entirely underwater. This made them nearly invisible to the patrol aircraft that were the #1 threat to the LPVs. This is the snorkel sub, and it's a marvel of jungle engineering. First, its fiberglass hull gives it a non-metallic signature which helps it dodge systems that planes use to find normal metal submarines. When they spot danger, the crew floods the ballast tanks with water, and the whole vessel just slips beneath the waves. The snorkel is the key to the whole thing. It provides air for the diesel engine and for the crew, all while the sub is underwater. Oh, and with a camera on top, it even doubles as a periscope.
This is probably the most stunning fact in this whole story. To this day, not one of these snorkel subs has ever been intercepted on the open ocean. Ever. The only reason we even know about them is from raids on the jungle shipyards where they're built, and that tells you one thing: these things are incredibly successful.
So who builds these incredible machines? We're not talking about naval engineers in some corporate shipyard. No, we're talking about artisanal master builders hidden deep, deep in the jungle.
This quote from the analyst H.I. Sutton just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. These boats might look shoddy, but they are designed to be just good enough to reliably complete one single mission. No more, no less. It's brutally efficient engineering. It's like a lean startup in the middle of the jungle. Build something that just barely works for its one intended purpose, and do not waste a single dollar on anything extra.
As the designs get more complex, well, the costs go up. And in 2020, authorities discovered what might just be the holy grail of this entire illicit industry, a fully submersible, all-electric submarine with an estimated price tag of $1.5 million.
All right, let's look at the specs on this thing. It is fully submersible, no snorkel needed. It's got 10 tons of batteries, powering 2 silent electric motors. But here's the catch. It only has a range of about 60 kilometers. Now, that seems like a huge flaw, doesn't it? But it's actually its greatest strength, all thanks to one tiny feature, that towing ring.
And this is the checkmate move. A totally normal-looking fishing boat or cargo ship tows this silent electric sub for thousands of kilometers. When it gets close to the coast, or if a patrol boat shows up, they just unhook it. The sub then cruises the final 60 kilometers on its own power, completely silent and almost totally undetectable.
All of this innovation really leads to a fundamental question. Is this a conflict that law enforcement can even win? Because every single time they develop a new way to detect these things, the builders invent a new way to evade it.
And the whole strategy is evolving. Instead of putting all their eggs in one basket with one massive payload, the trend is towards smaller but more frequent shipments on these increasingly sophisticated vessels. This is classic risk management. By spreading the product across more trips, losing any single boat is no longer a catastrophic financial hit.
And you've got to remember, these multi-million-dollar vessels are disposable. After one successful delivery, they are deliberately sunk. They're not seen as assets, they're just a line item, a cost of doing business. And that makes them even harder to track and to study. Capturing a mastermind like Oscar Moreno Ricardo, that is a huge victory for law enforcement. But he is just one designer. The knowledge, the techniques, and frankly, the financial incentive are just too great. The system itself is designed to be resilient. When one builder falls, another one has already taken its place.
And that leaves us with a final, kind of chilling thought. The cat and mouse game just continues. For every vessel they capture, for every kingpin they arrest, a new, more advanced design is probably being sketched out on a workshop floor, deep in the jungle, getting ready for the next phase of this hidden war at sea.